Alrighty, it is 1:30, so we're going to go ahead and get started with this webinar. And good afternoon, everyone. So thank you for joining me for today's webinar on the June 2021 B2B and Farm Publisher Statement Filing Overview. If you're new to filing or just need a refresher, this webinar will be a great overview of the online filing tool for you. Before I get started, I do have a few housekeeping notes. I do have everyone on mute. However, feel free to type in your questions and I'll try to address them during the webinar. But if I do run out of time during the webinar, I will definitely address your questions offline. Also, this webinar is being recorded and I will be sending out a follow-up webinar email that's going to include a copy of my PowerPoint presentation as well as a webinar recording. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started because we have a lot to go through in a short amount of time. So from our main purpose on that you'll see that we're going to be going over today with our agenda is the statement overview. I'm going to go through each section of the filing tool, and I'm going to show you different tips and tricks for the filing tool that will help you with filing. And then I'm going to exit out of my PowerPoint and then go into a live demo of the online filing tool so you can see it in action. And just real briefly, I am going to show you where your statement is located once it's released. Your statement and audit reports, release documents for AAM, they are housed in our database, which is known as the Media Intelligence Center, also referred to as the MIC. So publisher statements, for those that are our B2B clients and our farm clients, you do file 2 times a year with AAM. You file 2 6-month publisher statements. The first one being 6-month ending December 31st, which is due January 31st. And then the other one is 6 months ending June 30th, which is due July 31st. Now, I do want to point out that if the weekend date happens to be the due date, it happens to be on a weekend, then the due date will be that following business day. So for example, July 31st this year of 2021 is actually a Saturday. So your due date will be due Monday, August 2nd, 2021 for your June filing. Now to get started for filing your publisher statement, I always think it's helpful to have your latest release publisher statement on hand. This is a great reference tool for you. Usually your distribution categories really don't change much from statement to statement, so it's a great guide. So you can find that in our Media Intelligence Center on our website. To access the Media Intelligence Center and the Filing Center, you're going to go into our main website, which is theauditedmedia.com. Click on Login. And to access your release reports, go into the Media Intelligence Center. But for the filing of your statement claims, you're going to want the Filing Center. And this is what we're mainly going to be focusing on today. So to file your statement claims, click on Login, Filing Center, and then it's going to ask for the member number, username, and password for that particular publication. I do want to point out that your credentials for the Filing Center, they are different than the Media Intelligence Center. So if you have questions about what your credentials are for either the Media Intelligence Center, the Publishing Filing Center, let me know, and I'm more than happy to provide that for you. You can either email me or you can contact me on my office line, which is 224-366-6342. So once you've entered into the filing tool, the filing tool is made up 3 main components. You have the general information section, analysis, and review and submit. So when you go into the filing tool, the first thing you're going to want to do is go under general information and go into publication information. This publication information has a series of questions that helps determine how we're going to set up the filing tool for you. So the main question it asks, what circulation types will you report? Do you have print? Do you have digital? Do you have both? If you have both, check both. Check what is applicable for your publication. I do want to point out that if you do not check a particular item, it's not going to show up in the filing tool. So if you have digital and you didn't check it, go back in publication information section and check digital. The other question is, what circulation categories will you report? Do you have qualified paid, qualified non-paid? Do you have both? Again, check what is applicable for your publication. I do want to point out that everyone is going to have non-qualified, non-paid checked. What this is your miscellaneous non-paid. It's your miscellaneous sample copies, your advertiser copies, etc. So this will automatically be checked for you. Then also there's a couple questions about the appearance of your publisher statement. Do you want your logo on there? Do you want us to use the same logo we've had in the past? Do you have a new one that you would like to replace? Also, same thing with the cover. Then on this side here, it has information about wanting to know about your parent company and the address, contact information. And then we have the field serve and qualified recipient, which is for your qualified non-paid publications. So if you have both, you're going to see both. We do pull this over from your latest released publisher statement, but if it does change, let us know and we'll update that field serve and qualified recipient for you. I do want to point out, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit here, is each section of the filing tool has two save features. We have save and continue. If you get anything out of my filing webinar today, just remember to save and save often. The filing tool does have a tendency to time out after a few minutes of inactivity, so you want to make sure you save your information that you've inputted. Save is just like what it says, it saves and it stays on that same page. Save and continue, what this is, it saves your information and goes to the next section in the filing tool. So the next few slides I'm going to be talking about under general information is issue by issue. So the issue by issue, basically what this is, you're going to have your circulation records that you have maintained for each issue that reports the distribution for it. Your circulation records are usually maintained in your publication, or some of you are using a fulfillment house to maintain your circulation records. But those is the backup information you're going to use to report in this section. What this section does, it takes your distribution for each issue, and then it generates the different sections in the actual final product of your publisher statement. Here's what it's going to look in your printed document, the issue by issue. But this issue by issue, what it does is once you enter in your data, it adds it all up and divides by the number of issues that you have during the statement period to come up with the averages. And then the averages are then included in your 6-month averages here. For if you're qualified paid circulation, also for those who have qualified non-paid distribution, it will show up. And then everyone's going to have their 6-month average for the non-qualified circulation. This is that miscellaneous sample copies, advertiser copies, etc. So your issue by issue section actually has a lot of information. It is going to be populating for you. So you want to make sure that you spend some time on the issue by issue section. So let me zoom out of this for a second and then go to the next slide. So when you enter information into the issue by issue, you can manually enter in the data. But for those publications that, let's say you're a weekly publication and you have a lot of distribution points, you would rather enter that information in an Excel format and upload it. And you certainly can do that. However, we do ask that if you do prefer to upload a file, that you click on the CSV specifications, because you want to make sure your file, your Excel file, has all the column headings that are necessary to be able to populate the issue by issue correctly. So you can check out the CSV specifications. We also have an Excel example here. You can download this Excel template and use that because it's going to have all the appropriate columns, and then just save it for your title, fill it out, and then when you save it, you want to save it as a CSV file. Then you'll go into choose file, find that save CSV file, and then click upload, and then it would automatically populate for you. Just want to point out that you have two choices. You can manually enter this in, or you can upload. But if you do upload, just remember, it has to be in accordance with our CSV specifications. Also, some more filing tips for the issue by issue. Again, if you look here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Next to the issues, we have a special issue. Just real briefly, what a special issue is, this is in addition to your normal issues that you release. Um, Honestly, B2B and farm publications usually don't have special issues, but if you did, it's usually like an anniversary issue. It's in addition to your normal issues. If you happen to have a special issue, click the plus icon, fill out the name and the date that was issued, and then check the box special issue. Special issues will be then listed here in the issue by issue section, but they are not calculated in your overall 6-month average. Like I said, most business pubs and farms don't have special issue, but everyone is going to have an analyzed issue. An analyzed issue is an issue that you're going to take and break it down further throughout the publisher statement, such as your business occupational analysis, your geographic analysis, etc. So AAM does not dictate what your analyzed issue is going to be. We just ask that you select an analyzed issue during the statement period. So make sure that you select an analyzed issue. Also, too, for the naming conventions for the issues, if it's months, it's going to be the oh, I'm sorry, I skipped this slide. So that was the analyzed issue. Next, we have adds and removes. Some publications have adds and removes that they want to report. You certainly can. But if you don't want to report adds and removes, there is a box to check. Check here if not reporting the optional removals and adds. We talked about special issues. Also, too, if you have edits, you can manually make your edits. Or if you uploaded a file, you can make the edits in your file and re-upload it. And of course, remember to save and save often. So now this slide, what this is talking about the naming conventions for your issues. If you're a monthly publication, it's just going to be the first 3 letters of the month. For example, May, June, July. So for June will be JUN, July would be JUL. If you're a weekly, again, it would be the first 3 letters of the month and followed by the 2-digit date. So for example, we have JUN01, JUN08. If you have instead your issues are a name, you want to fill out what the complete name is. We also ask that you don't use any periods. Also too, if you want to add an issue or delete an issue, you can use the plus icon or the red X to delete. So this just kind of summarizes what I just talked about for the issue by issue. If you manually enter the information, also make sure you check your analyzed issue. If you want to upload a file, you certainly can, but just make sure it meets our CSV specifications. You can always download the Excel example, resave it and use that, and then fill it out, save it as a CSV file, then go and choose file, find that saved CSV file, and then click upload for this to populate. Also, if you're not reporting adds and removes, go ahead and check the box saying you're not reporting adds and removes. The next section under general information and circulation data is the regional and demographic additions. This is only applicable for publications that have either a regional or a demographic addition. If you do, you just fill out this section here in the filing tool. Next few slides, I'm going to be talking sorry about that, skipping ahead here. We're going to be talking about your business occupational analysis. Sorry about that. For your business occupational analysis, this is where you're going to take your analyzed issue and you're going to break it down by classification of your business industry. Usually your business occupational format is unique to your own publication. And what we will do, we will send you, or in the actual filing tool, there's going to be an Excel template for you that is specific for your publication. So when you do the business occupational analysis, we're going to ask you to download the template, fill it out, and then upload it. So this is what it'll look like when you go into the filing tool. Here's this business occupational analysis section, otherwise known as the BOA. So when you go into the BOA, it actually gives you instructions of what you need to do. but it's really pointing you down here to download template. You're going to download the template. It's going to pop up an Excel file. That Excel file is what you're going to fill out. Format is based off of your previous one that you filed with us. Any changes, you let us know. So once you have your Excel file here completed, you're going to save it, and then you're going to choose file, find that file that you just completed, and then click upload. Do you want to point out in the BOA, there's also additional information that will be reported in there if you optional reporting, or not optional reporting, but if you happen to have an international geographical analysis that you're reporting. When you go into the geographic analysis section, it's going to be reporting by state or by province, but we have some publications that actually have international geo. They're reporting their analyzed issue by country. So if that's the case, you're going to report that information. There's going to be a separate tab in the BOA in that Excel file. There's going to be a tab that's going to say International Geo, and that's where you're going to fill that out. Also, too, we've added a new reporting option, which is called Recency of Engagement. This will also be housed in the Excel file as a separate tab in your BOA. So just going to spend a couple slides here just talking about recency of engagement. Recency of engagement really is applicable mostly for qualified non-paid distribution. What this is it goes into effect June 2021. It's an optional report for right now. Recency reports the age of the initial recipient, the source that they were using, how they interacted with your publication. This allows a publisher to analyze how recently the recipient engaged with the publication, such as the digital editions, that they accessed your website, the newsletters, etc. So this is an example of what it would look like. Again, this is optional reporting, and this is mainly for if you do have qualified non-paid distribution. So key components about the recency of engagement is that the recency of engagement should be less than 36 months. So just like the age of source, the engagement should be less than 36 months. And you're looking at the analyzed issue, and the main categories under source will be total direct request recipient, recipients from company, associations, etc. The recency of engagement, when you report it, the recency, it's either going to be under 1 or 2 years. If you do not have an engagement within the 24-month time period, then it's going to say data not available. Again, recency of engagement is optional, but it's also optional, and it's mainly for your qualified non-paid distribution. But if you do have paid and you want to do recency of engagement, you certainly could do that as well. And you can prorate the first time initial that you do it in the publisher statement. If you happen to report it for June, you would be able to prorate it in December as long as there wasn't a 10% variance. If you do choose to report this optional recency of engagement, you do need to maintain source documentation to have on hand when it comes time to audit. And some of that source documentation as examples to have on hand is the purchase of any publisher product or service that's related to the brand, activation or open or download of a newsletter, download or access of any documents such as a white paper list that's related to your publication, registration or attendance to a publisher's event or webinar, updates or changes to the actual subscription, the subscriber information that's by the subscriber, and then any visits to your publication's website. Next section is it's the age of source, and this is for qualified non-paid. For qualified non-paid, it takes your analyzed issue and it's going to break it down by age of source. It's not required for paid, it's optional for paid. And the source information should not be more than 36 months old. And if your reports in totals only and not by detail, you can report this in total, especially if you want to report paid and non-paid together as an aggregate, you can do that. So here's what it looks like when you get into the filing tool. So here's the age of source. And really, again, this is mostly for those, if you're reporting qualified non-paid distribution, again, this is optional for paid. If you do have some paid distribution mixed in with your qualified non-paid, you can do that. Just check the box saying, click here if you're reporting paid and non-paid circulation in aggregate. The next slide has to do with age of source, and it has to do with the COVID-19 reporting exceptions. So because of COVID-19, more and more states were opening up and we're getting back to normal. However, COVID-19 really still had an impact on us. So we understand that, and so we do have some exceptions for reporting for COVID-19 that is still in effect for June 2021 filing. So here's the two options for age of source. So if you have qualified non-paid distribution, you do have to report age of source. However, for COVID-19, we have a couple options for you. Oops, sorry about that. So I'm going to zoom in here. So click here if you want to report the optional COVID-19 format. What that is, you still report your age of source, but if you notice that 1 year, 2 year, 3 year bucket are missing. So it just allows you just to take your analyzed issue and provide the basic information for your age of source. The other opportunity is you're just not going to report it. So click here, it says opt out due to COVID-19. So if you don't have the records on hand, what you could do is just opt out due to COVID-19. Do want to point out that even if you opt out of not reporting age of source due to COVID-19, you still have the option to report your recency of engagement. So maybe if you don't have that information for the age of source, but you have some recency of engagement information, that's another opportunity for you to report information in regards to your qualified non-paid distribution. Oops. This next slide has to do with mailing address. And again, it's taking the analyzed issue. And this is mainly for your qualified non-paid distribution. If you have qualified non-paid distribution, this is an optional paragraph for you. It's just taking that analyzed issue and it's breaking it down by how was it the publication addressed to the recipient? Was it individual name and title and occupation? Was it addressed by individual name only, etc.? Again, if you're not reporting it, just check the box saying click here and not reporting. Now this section here is a geographic analysis. This geographic analysis is for everyone. Everyone is going to take their analyzed issue and they're going to break down their distribution by state, by qualified paid, and if you have any qualified non-paid, non-qualified non-paid, also it breaks down your digital by state as well. Do you want to point out though, for those who have an international geo, remember your international geo will be in your Excel file in the business occupational section. When you download the template and for your business occupational, for those that report an international geo, that is where it's going to be housed. So this slide here talks a little bit more about the geographical analysis section. So you're going to start taking your analyzed issue and you're going to start entering in data by state, by distribution points. You can manually do this, or you can download the template, which will be in an Excel file, and click Enable Editing and go ahead and copy and paste your information that you have from your own reports into the template. Save that template and then choose File, that saved template, and then click Upload, and it will automatically populate for you. We have some clients that like working with Excel more than they do just manually entering this, so it's up to you. It's your preference. Also, too, we do have some clients that are going to go ahead and report units as well. If you do have units and want to report them for your geographic analysis, go ahead and check the box. Click here if reporting units in your geographic analysis. This next section is pretty much for those that are reporting paid distribution. So the first section under analysis, we have prices and optional data. So this pricing information, if you have paid distribution, you do need to fill this information out for your pricing information. But the following paragraphs, they're going to be optional. So what this is, terms of data, what this is for the subscriptions you sold during the statement period, what was the length of the subscription? Was it 3 years, 2 years, 1 year? If you don't want to report it, you don't have to. It's purely optional. Check the box if you're not reporting. Same thing with sales of channels. Sales of channels is taking how many subscriptions did you sell during the statement period? How did you receive them? Was it direct request? Was it an independent agency, etc.? If you don't want to report it, you don't have to. Again, check the box. Same thing goes as applies to premiums. Also, if you want to report post expires or renewals, you certainly can. If you don't want to report it, just check the box so you're not reporting these particular paragraphs. The last section in analyzed section is notes. Notes is what it is. It's basically miscellaneous information about your distribution. It's in a note section of the publisher statement. What AAM will do is we provide the previous notes we have on file for you. If they are the same, you can leave them and update them. If there's a particular note that's no longer applicable for the statement period, just use the red X to delete it. If you want to add a note, go ahead and click Add Notes, and there's going to be a menu option of the different notes that you can choose from to select. So once you have filled out the general information section, all the information in the analysis section, you are now in the final stages to submit your information. So we're under Review and Submit. So under Review and Submit, we have this first section called Publisher Comments. Now, these publisher comments are not going to be on your printed document. They're not going to be in our database. What this is basically communication for you to communicate to us here at AAM. That information about your publication that may be helpful to us when we go through review your publisher statement. Because once your statement is submitted to AAM, it does go through a review process. Our review team is going to review your information you submitted, compare it to what was recently filed, previously filed and released. And if we notice major variances in distribution or categories that weren't filled out, we're probably going to contact you and say, hey, just to double check, is this correct? But if there's any changes to your publication, just note it here. If everything's been status quo, you can just leave this blank. This section here is upload files. So if you have a logo a new logo or a logo you want us to make sure we have on your report, you can upload it here. Check the logo, and then we ask that it's in a TIFF or JPEG format. If there's a cover you want to add on your printed document, click on covers and upload that cover. Do you want to point out that the covers and logos, if you're not provide us any new information, we'll use what we previously had on file for you. This next section of Review and Submit is View Data. View Data basically is the proof of the information you've entered in the filing tool. You can go into View Data at any point in time during this filing process to see what the information, how it looks in the filing tool once you have it completed. What you would do is each section, click on the gray box, the gray section, and it expands and it shows you what you have filed. Now, if you notice that there's information missing, what you could do is go back to that particular section in the filing tool, update it, save it, and then when you click on View Data, it will update automatically for you. So again, this is the proof section for you. I do recommend that when you have your statement already completed in the filing tool, use this print icon and print out that information. It'll print out all the information in the View Data section. It'll print out each section for you, the filing tool. Or the other option is save it as a PDF. And the reason why I recommend this, it's because it's nice to have this as backup for your publisher statement. And also it's nice to have on hand for when you file your next publisher statement. View alerts. View alerts, this is a message board that's going to say, hey, there's some things you're going to need to take a look at before you submit your statement. So for example, my business occupational filed as required just means I have not uploaded it. So if I didn't upload my business file, I need to go back to my business occupational analysis, download the template, fill it out, save it, upload it, and then this error message will go away. Okay, this 1 second here. So you have on here the file for filing for this last part under review and submit, we have statement submission. So when everything is said and done, what you're going to do is put your name and title and check the box right below that. And then you're going to put your email address, and then you're going to do submit publisher statement claims. So that is pretty much the filing in a nutshell. Once your statement is submitted to AAM, we do go through a review process. And once it goes through the review process, we're going to go ahead and send you an email. And in that email, it's going to say, hey, you have one more chance to look at your information before we release it into the database. And then what you would do is it's going to direct you to go back into the filing tool under view data, and then either say, yes, I agree, go ahead and release it, or nope, I have some corrections. So you're going to decline it and then provide the corrections. Before I go into the live demo, I do also want to point out that when you file your distribution claims, it's also a good idea to update your brand view profile. As a reminder, a brand view profile is the interface in our database and allows you to customize it so to have more information about your publication. And the great thing about the brand view profile is that it's free. It's just a nice way to customize your information in our database. It's a great marketing tool. Your brand view link will be unique to your publication, and you can share that with any of your clients, any of your advertisers. And it'll have all the information in brand view about your publication. I'll have a circulation tab that is updated with each release publisher statement. Also, too, it'll have the reports library tab. Do want to point out this reports library tab that actually houses the hard copy of your publisher statement is only available for those that are clients of AAM. So when you submit your brand view link to other clients, if they're not a client of AAM, they'll have a copy of your brand view, but not the reports library. So that I'm going to switch out. Just going to see what questions I have. It says, I plan to claim both paid and non-paid qualified search on this filing, which is changed from past filing when I've only claimed paid circulation. Will any changes be required in the forms and tables? So actually, great question. So for those that have, oops, sorry about that. For those that, trying to get out of the question mode here, sorry about that. For those that do have, are changing, they're adding qualified non-paid, let us know so we can update that filing tool for you. So just go ahead and email either myself, or you can email my colleague, Tim Lean. And hold on a second here. Let me get from the current slide. Here we go. Sorry about that. You can contact Tim Lean. You can contact myself. Tim Lean is actually the person you really would want to contact if you have any changes in your format, because he'll go and he'll update that for you. Also, too, you can also contact my colleague Andy and Barb as well. We'll help you with any filing questions that you may have. But Tim Lean is in charge of filing, so if you do have any changes, just let him know, and he'll make those changes for you in the filing tool. Great question, though. So bear with me as I escape out of my PowerPoint presentation. Now I am going into the live demo mode, and hold on 1 second here. I just need to move this menu bar. There we go. So the filing tool technically is not open until July 1st. However, I am using a demo mode, but what I'm showing you in the demo mode is exactly what you're going to see in the live filing tool. So you would go into AAM's main website, and you're going to click on Publishing Filing Center. It's going to ask for your credentials for your publication. For my example, I'm using Adweek, and I'm just using it purely as an example. The numbers I enter in during my demonstration are just for demonstration purposes only. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my member number, username, and password and click login. Once I do that, I have some more options on the right-hand side. I'm going to click on Publishing Statement Filing Claims. When you do that, it puts you on a welcome page. I do want to point out that if you click on the Support Center, which actually has some great information, it directs you right into AAM's main website under Resources, and there's a great filing guide. If you click on this filing guide, it goes step by step of each section, the filing tool. So if you have a question, great reference tool. You can always call us, but this is just a great tool to have on hand. Again, you can just find that in the welcome page under Support Center. Like I said in the PowerPoint, the filing tool is made up of 3 components. You have general information, analysis, and review and submit. So you always want to start in general information and go into publication information. Again, this sets the tone. How you answer the question sets the tone for the filing tool. So for my example, my publication has both print and digital. If I didn't check digital, digital is not going to show up in the filing tool. So I want to make sure I have digital checked. Also, that wants to know, do I have qualified paid? Do I have qualified non-paid? You're going to check both. So then the filing tool can set up for you. So for those that have paid circulation and adding qualified non-paid, still double check with Tim Lean to make sure we have everything set up for you for in the filing tool for you. Once you have everything completed in this section, just to let you know, here's the field served, here's my qualified recipients. This doesn't change, this stays the same, but if you happen to have a change in your field serve, which rarely happens, but if you do, let us know and we can update that for you. But here's my save. So when I click save, you want to see that message successfully saved. The other option is just do save and continue. When you click save and continue, it saves it, but goes to the next section. So this next section is that issue by issue. This is where one of the main components of your publisher statement. Once you fill this information out, you can start typing in numbers for each issue. And if you, oops, don't want to put a letter in there. Once you put, you can see that it's calculating the average for you. As you start typing in numbers, what it'll do, it adds each issue, totals up all the information you've entered, divides it by the number of issues that you have listed to come up with your average. So once you start completing this, this will update at the average. Also, to analyzed issue, you need to make sure you check an analyzed issue. We don't care which issue you choose. That's purely up to you. We just ask that it's within the statement period. So just go ahead and select what your analyzed issue is. If you prefer not to manually enter this, you go to CSV specifications, and it's going to show you how to set up your Excel file with those specs. You can also download the Excel example here. And when I click on that, it's going to have it in the format that you need to set up your Excel. So I'm going to expand this, click Enable Editing, and then here just start filling in your issues for your publication. You would only fill out the distribution for the applicable categories. But if you notice, there's some categories that are going to be listed even though you don't have distribution. You need to leave those categories there. You just have it blank. That's so it can upload correctly in the filing tool. So that's the issue by issue section. Once you're done with that, here's the region and demographic information. Again, if you happen to have a region edition, a demographic edition, click on the plus icon and then fill it out and do save and continue. Now we're in the analysis section. This is the business occupational analysis. If you notice, there's a lot of information here. Read the information. It provides instructions what you need to do to upload your business occupational analysis. So basically, go down here to download template, click on download template, open it up. and it's opening. Give it a second here. There we go. So your template is unique for your publication, and it is based off of what we previously had on file for you. But if your classifications change, let us know, and we'll be able to change it for you. Click Enable Editing, and then go ahead and fill in the information in yellow that's applicable for your taking your analyzed issue and breaking down that distribution by classification for qualified paid, if you had digital, etc. Once you have this completed, go ahead and save it. And where are we here? Then what you do is choose File, find that Save Completed Excel file, and then click Upload. Do want to point out, I'm going to bring up this download template again, because I want to show you. Then in addition to your business occupational analysis, if you wanted to report recency of engagement, click on this tab and you can, it has the recency and engagement format set up for you. You just need to take your analyzed issue and then fill in the information that's in yellow. If you have international geo, there will be a separate tab in your business occupational analysis spreadsheet that would have an international geo tab. So that's the business occupational analysis section. Next is age of source. This is really applicable for your qualified non-paid distribution. Again, if you're reporting paid together with your qualified non-paid, you could do that by checking the box here. The other thing is, due to COVID-19, we do have some exceptions that are still in place for June 2021 filing. One is if I modified format. So if I click here to report optional COVID-19 format, again, you take your analyzed issue, fill out the age of source, but you're not printing out the 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. That will not be displayed. The other option for COVID is just not reporting it at all. If you don't have the record, it's just right now due to COVID-19, you don't have that information available. You can just say opt out due to COVID-19. Again, if you opt out not to report, you always have that option to go back in the business occupational section and fill out recency of engagement. Purely up to you. Again, that recency of engagement is optional, but it's just in addition to your age of source information. But if you have everything, just go ahead and fill this information out and then click Save and Continue. Mailing address. Mailing address, again, this is really applicable for qualified non-paid distribution. It's optional. Again, it's taking that analyzed issue and you're going to report your distribution, whether or not the publication was addressed to the recipient. Was it individual name only? Was it title, occupation only, etc. If you don't want to report it, go ahead and check the box saying optional reporting and then click Save and Continue. This next section is for everybody, whether you're paid, qualified, non-paid, or both. You're going to take your analyzed issue and you're going to break it down by state. If you're a Canadian publication, you're going to break it down by province. And remember, if you have international geo, you do report it, but you're going to report it in the occupational analysis section. In that Excel template, there will be a tab in there for your international geo. You can start typing if you want units, check the box so the units appear. You can manually start typing in your information. But if you prefer, actually, I like Excel, so it's easier for me to enter information in Excel and then upload it. So to do that, click Download Template, open up that template, and give it a moment. It has, click Enable Editing. And then you can copy and paste from your own records, then save this file, and then go into Choose File, find that saved file, and then click Upload, and then this will automatically populate for you. Again, it's up to you, but you can manually enter the information or use the download template, save it, and then upload it. Next section in the filing tool is price and optional data. So again, if you're if you paid publication, you filled this section out, the price data information, but the rest of the information is going to be optional. So if you don't want to report your terms, your sales channel, just check the box saying not going to report. You just do that and then go ahead and click save and continue. Next section is the notes. This is miscellaneous information about your publication. It's additional notes that you'll see in the actual printed document. We carry these over from your previous one filed, but let's say you don't have a multi-copy address anymore, just delete it and then say yes. And then it deletes that, that explanatory. To see what the explanatory is, just click on the gray box and you can see what it's explaining. If there's an additional note that you want to add, click on Add Notes, and you can choose from the wide variety of options here for you for your notes. And there's also a miscellaneous option. Now that I have entered my information in, I am in that final stage. So I'm going into my review and submit. Here's publisher comments. Again, remember, these do not get printed. It is just for us here internally. It's just a way for you to communicate with us, to saying, hey, you know, I had a price change. I had a, you know, anything change in distribution you would put here. If it was pretty much nothing major change from last filing, just leave it blank and click save and continue. This section here is if you want to upload a new cover or a new logo. If I want to upload a new cover, I would click on cover and then I would upload it as either a TIFF or JPEG format. Same thing with logo. View data. View data is my proof. Proof of my information that I've entered in the filing tool. To see what you've entered, expand the gray areas. You can expand each section. It shows you exactly what you've entered in the filing tool. If you notice you're missing something, go back to that particular section, update it, save it, and then go into view data and it will be updated for you. Here's that print icon. When you click on print icon, you can either save it as a PDF or change the destination and print it, send it to your printer. Let me get out of this. Okay, just 1 second here. Oops. Sorry about that, I actually logged out. So bear with me as I go back in here. I'm going to go back into my staging area. Need to type in, and that's okay if that happens. If you ever get booted on the filing tool, just re-enter it. So I'm going back in, hitting publishing statement file, claims, and then under review and submit. So we're going to talk about view alerts. View alerts is what it is. It's giving you messages saying, hey, you're going to have to check out these alerts before you release your information. So right now it's telling me I didn't upload my business occupational analysis. I didn't enter information for my non-qualified circulation, my issue by issue. So it's giving you some alerts to saying, hey, you need to resolve this before you submit. Once I resolve all that, then I can go into statement submission. I can put this is where you're going to put your name and title and check that box, which is your electronic signature. You're going to put in your email address and then you're going to click submit. If you do want to update brand view, you certainly can. You can do that at this point in time or contact me and I'm more than happy to help you with that. So that's the filing tool. Just real briefly, do you want to show you where your information is housed in the in our database? So you go into AAM's main website, go into login, and then instead of going to the filing center, go into Media Intelligence Center. It's going to ask for your credentials. Remember, your credentials for your Media Intelligence Center, they're different than the filing tool. So if you don't know what your credentials are, you can always contact us. I'm going to go ahead and sign in. And just go ahead and type in the title of your publication. I'm going to go ahead and bring up Clinician Brief. And if you just click on the title, Clinician's Brief actually has their full brand view profile built out. Here's the overview tab. They have a link to their media kit. The circulation tab, this is updated automatically for them. It's based on the latest released publisher statements. Here's that reports library tab. Everyone will have a reports library tab. This reports library tab is where your publisher statements are housed, as well as your audit reports. So if you want to see your December publisher statement, go under report date and click on it, and it will have your hard copy available for you that you can download as a PDF. So that was a lot of information in a short amount of time. Again, if you have any questions, you can contact me or my colleagues, Tim, Andy, or Barb. Filing tool opens July 1st, and Monday, August 2nd is when your statement is due. I'm going to double check one quick question here. We have already, I think we've already addressed that question. So thank you so much for staying with me online and listening to this webinar. I hope you found it helpful. And again, I will be sending out an email that's going to have the webinar recording as well as this presentation. So thank you so much for joining me today, and have a wonderful day.